The city bus lurched, a tin can packed with the humid breath of strangers. Caleb stood face to face with Liam, the space between them so negligible he could trace the architecture of his eyelashes. For some time now, Caleb had found himself fixated on this proximity, drawn to the flawless geography of Liam's face. It was an objective fact that Liam was beautiful, a finely sculpted reality that made looking away feel like a waste. A part of him wondered if this superficial perfection was all his brother Ethan had seen. The thought felt too shallow, a reason he couldn't quite accept. As if on cue, the driver slammed on the brakes. Caleb's body, already unsteady, pitched forward. A strong arm shot out, and Liam caught him, pulling him flush against his chest. Liam's voice was a low murmur against his ear, a simple caution to stand steady that sent a jolt through Caleb's entire system. His heart began a frantic, percussive rhythm against his ribs. Instinctively, his fingers had clenched the fabric of Liam's hoodie, and even after the moment passed, he found he had no desire to let go. Liam's gaze dropped to Caleb's hand. The awareness was there, but Caleb held on, even tightening his grip slightly when Liam said nothing. The bus resumed its swaying journey. Liam's eyes, calm and discerning, settled on him, and he finally asked what Caleb was thinking, staring at him so intently. A playful grin spread across Caleb's face as he leaned in closer. He confessed that he was just confirming the rumors. Liam really was as good-looking as everyone said. A slow smile bloomed on Liam's face, a smile devoid of surprise or discomfort, as if he had been expecting just such a remark. Another failed test. Caleb's mind raced. Was Liam interested in guys or not? Maybe his approach was still too tame. The thought was a low hum beneath the surface as his fingers remained knotted in the soft cotton of Liam's hoodie. The bus stuttered through traffic, the press of bodies a constant, shifting pressure. Caleb found himself swaying with the motion, always ending up leaning against Liam's solid frame. Liam glanced down, a hint of amusement in his tone, as he questioned if Caleb had skipped breakfast, commenting on his lack of balance and the imminent destruction of his hoodie. Caleb offered a fake apology, loosening his grip for a moment. But then another screech of brakes sent him flying forward again, this time with more force. He collided with Liam, his arms instinctively wrapping around his waist for support. He felt Liam's body go rigid for a split second. A sigh of resignation seemed to pass through him. Finally, Liam conceded, suggesting Caleb just hold onto his arm instead. There was no one in the world Caleb had despised more than his brother, Ethan. They were identical twins, but the similarities ended with their reflection. Ethan excelled at everything, the perpetual benchmark, the child all other parents compared theirs to. Every report card was a fresh wound. His grades in class rank a glaring testament to a gap Caleb could never close, no matter how many nights he spent hunched over textbooks. He hated it. He couldn't understand why God would create such a person to mock his own existence. As if humanity had agreed on an evolutionary path and Ethan had simply skipped ahead, leaving Caleb behind as the less developed primate. It made no sense. They came from the same mother, so why did they feel like different species? But then Ethan died. He died during the winter break of their junior year. And it felt petty, pathetic even, to hold a grudge against a black and white photograph. So Caleb swept his dark feelings into even darker corners of his mind. One day, while sorting through what Ethan had left behind, he found a secret. Ethan was gay, and he had been in love with Liam. His journal was a shrine, filled with page after page of unrequited longing. His phone's camera roll was a clandestine gallery of stolen photos of Liam. A single sheet of scratch paper was covered in Liam's name, written over and over in Ethan's perfect script. This unlocked a profound curiosity in Caleb. Ethan had always been the favored one, the recipient of the best clothes, the best shoes, the best of everything. The excuse was always a reward for being first in his class, but since that was a constant, the rewards felt less like encouragement and more like an admission that he was simply more deserving. In the days after the funeral, Caleb's mother would look at his face and see a ghost, her tears flowing anew. She had whispered it more than once, the devastating question of why it had to be Ethan. Why not me? Caleb was certain that if fate offered his mother a trade, his life for Ethan's, she would accept without hesitation. And yet this person, this boy whose death was a universe of loss, who effortlessly obtained everything Caleb ever wanted, had been tormented by a secret love. Who was Liam? He was a neighbor who had moved into the area in middle school. He was somewhat reserved, and despite the years, they had never become close. They were merely acquaintances who might walk to the bus stop together if their paths crossed. Caleb now understood all the times Ethan used to linger at a certain street corner, his eyes scanning the road. He had found it irritating then, but now he realized Ethan had been waiting, hoping for a glimpse of Liam. But what was so special about Liam? Sure, he was in the honors track like Ethan, but he wasn't at the very top. He wasn't the certified genius everyone praised. How could he be worthy of Ethan's worshipful adoration? Ethan, who loved Liam so much, had hidden it away, content with stolen glances and shared bus rides. It was either pathetic or pathological. Driven by a strange compulsion, Caleb decided he would do what Ethan couldn't. But he would be bolder, 100 times more relentless. What was so precious about one handsome boy that required such timid reverence? The quickest way to breach someone's defenses was to become a persistent, unavoidable presence. Unlike his brother, Caleb wasn't in love with Liam, and he had a thick skin. He started seeking Liam out for everything. Basketball games, lunch, help with homework he didn't need. Soon, they were familiar, and Caleb had even befriended Liam's small circle of friends. Liam wasn't cold, just quiet. One afternoon, Caleb didn't wait for Liam after school. He twisted his ankle in gym class, and the nurse, after taping it up, had sent him home early. Not long after he got home, his phone buzzed incessantly with group chat notifications. The school's most popular girl, Jessica, had cornered Liam in the main hall and given him a love letter in front of everyone. According to the chat, Liam had politely accepted it. A betting pool was started on whether he would accept her offer. The vote was so lopsided in favor of yes that the bet was called off. Bored, Caleb silenced the notifications and tossed his phone aside. Later that evening, a knock came at his door. It was Liam, backpack slung over one shoulder. He said he had been waiting, asking why Caleb left without him. Caleb had deliberately not told him, a small test to see if his absence would be noticed. He never expected Liam to show up at his house. After a moment of surprise, Caleb explained about his ankle. Liam nodded and stepped inside. Caleb expressed his surprise, asking if he wasn't going to the evening study hall. Liam simply said he would text the teacher, explaining that he would stay and do homework with Caleb since he was injured. Caleb's mom ran a small shop and often worked late, so he was usually alone in the evenings. With Liam there, the house felt different. They sat at Caleb's desk, which was barely wide enough for two. Their elbows kept brushing. The early autumn air was still warm, and a fan whirred beside them, catching in Liam's soft-looking hair, lifting the dark strands and letting them fall. An impish idea took hold. Caleb leaned in quietly, puckering his lips to blow a puff of air at the back of Liam's head. Just as he did, Liam turned. "Caleb," he said, his tone flat, "are you going to do your work?" Startled, Caleb drew back. Liam's expression was unreadable. He asked if Caleb's homework had the answers written on his face. Caleb just leaned closer again, feigning helplessness and claiming he didn't know how to start. Liam told him to just mark the problems he couldn't do, and he would explain them later. His palm came up, gently pushing Caleb's face away. Caleb slumped onto the desk, chin resting on his folded arms, and watched Liam's hands. He had nice hands, Caleb noticed, and his handwriting was elegant. Another point in his favor, one Ethan had surely documented in his journal where Liam was a paragon of virtues. Liam, Caleb called out, bored. Liam responded with a soft hum. A moment passed. Liam. Again, the quiet affirmation. After the third time, Liam finally asked, with a touch of weary amusement, what it was he wanted to ask. Caleb grinned, admitting he was just being nosy and wanted to know if he was going to date Jessica. Liam's pen paused. He looked at Caleb, who explained that the whole school was talking about it and that their class had a bet going. He offered to split the winnings if Liam gave him a tip. Liam's response was a cool reminder that gambling was illegal. Caleb pouted, dismissing it as just a few dollars. Then, Liam's tone shifted. He said he wouldn't be dating her. He explained that he only took the letter to spare her embarrassment in front of so many people. Caleb sat up straight, expressing his surprise that he would turn down the most popular girl in school. If not her, then who did he like? Liam's lips quirked into a small smile. He posed a question back, asking if he was required to like someone. Caleb insisted that most people had a secret crush. Liam's voice was even as he stated that he didn't. In a voice barely above a whisper, Caleb confessed that he did. He quickly changed the subject, pushing his textbook toward Liam and asking for help with a problem he'd been stuck on. He was almost certain he heard Liam chuckle softly. He kept his head down, focusing on the book as Liam's elegant hand reached over, smoothed the page, and took the pen from his fingers. As Liam began to explain the solution, Caleb's heart hammered in his chest. It wasn't nervousness or shyness. In that moment, a wild, electrifying thought had sparked in his mind. He was going to make Liam fall in love with him. It was something Ethan had never dared to do, something he had failed to achieve. Caleb was going to succeed. Saturday night, the familiar sounds of shouting erupted from Liam's house. His parents fought often. It was common knowledge in the neighborhood. Caleb, home alone, sent Liam a simple text, asking if he wanted to come over. A short while later, Liam was at his door with a change of clothes. He used Caleb's shower, and when Caleb came back to his room after his own, he found Liam sitting on the edge of his bed, flipping through one of his graphic novels. His head was bowed, hair still damp and messy. Caleb walked over and draped his own towel over Liam's head. Liam looked up, his dark eyes quiet and deep. Caleb hesitated for a moment before gently touching a faint red scratch on Liam's right cheek, asking if he was okay. Liam caught his hand, his voice even as he said it was nothing, just a shard of glass from something they'd thrown. He immediately changed the subject, asking if Caleb had finished his homework. The abrupt shift was jarring. Caleb sat in the chair opposite him, remarking that Liam's mind seemed to contain nothing but schoolwork. Liam questioned if being good at school was a bad thing. Caleb conceded the point but added that teachers always advised a balance between work and rest. Liam was silent for a moment before admitting that it was only when he was doing problems that the world felt quiet. Caleb asked him what college he wanted to get into. Liam turned the question back on him. Caleb was taken aback. He'd never thought about it. He laughed it off, saying his grades weren't good enough to be ambitious. He'd just go wherever he could get in. Liam told him his grades weren't that bad, that with less than a year left, he could definitely get into a good state university if he focused. But Caleb just shook his head. Even if he did, he could never surpass Ethan. If Ethan were still alive, top-tier schools would have been a given for him. His mother would never be impressed by Caleb's modest achievements. He dismissed the idea, not wanting the pressure. Liam watched him for a long moment, then suddenly asked if Caleb wanted to apply to college in Boston with him. His expression grew serious. He told Caleb not to sell himself short, that he was smart, and with some tutoring he could make it. The tutoring part was fine, but Boston was another matter. Caleb stretched his legs out, his foot tapping the edge of the bed near Liam. He smiled, saying he'd think about it, and offered a playful thank you to Professor Liam. But they didn't study that night. The next day was Sunday, their only day to sleep in. Instead, Caleb turned on his computer and pulled Liam in to watch a movie. He chose carefully, a flicker of mischief guiding his hand. When Liam saw him click on Brokeback Mountain, a knowing smile touched his lips. Caleb, gripping the mouse, tried to act casual as he asked if Liam had seen it. Liam didn't answer directly, just nodded toward the screen, telling him to play it. The room was dark as they watched, neither of them speaking. In the small space, their legs would brush against each other whenever one of them shifted. After the movie ended, they went to bed. Images from the film replayed in Caleb's mind, making it impossible to sleep. The space under the covers grew hot and stifling. After tossing and turning, he finally slipped out of bed to use the bathroom. Liam was sleeping on the outside. When Caleb returned, he carefully climbed over Liam's still form. He saw Liam's eyes were closed, his breathing even. A sense of imbalance pricked at him. Why was he so calm? Leaning over, Caleb playfully pinched his nose. "What are you doing?" Liam's eyes opened. They were clear, alert. He hadn't been asleep at all. Embarrassed, Caleb stammered that he thought Liam was sleeping. Liam explained that with Caleb moving around so much, it was impossible. Caleb started to lie back down, but Liam's arm casually draped across his back, loosely holding him. So he stayed put. Liam asked what was on his mind. Caleb admitted he was thinking about the movie. After a pause, he asked why a man would fall in love with another man. The answer came back in 4 flat, even words. Why can't they? Caleb looked into Liam's eyes, his voice softening. No, I mean, why though? Liam's hand moved from his back to the nape of his neck, gently tilting his head down. Caleb, he murmured, you tell me why. Their faces were inches apart, breath mingling, lips almost touching. Caleb opened his mouth, then closed it, swallowing hard. Go to sleep, Liam said suddenly, releasing him and rolling over to face the wall. It's late. Caleb lay back on his pillow, staring into the darkness at the ceiling. As he watched, Ethan's face materialized, his expression calm. A silent, triumphant smile stretched across Caleb's lips. Did you feel that, Ethan? His heart was beating fast. Because of me. The city where he grew up always seemed to skip autumn, lurching straight from a long summer into a sudden, biting winter. Caleb hated winter. He was born on the last day of the year, December 31st. A framed photo of him and Ethan sat on his nightstand. That morning, he woke to see the photo, Ethan smiling at him, as if speaking. His birthday was also Ethan's, of course. After a moment of staring at the image, Caleb slammed it face down on the table. In the living room, his mother was polishing Ethan's memorial picture, her eyes red. She murmured to it, wishing her 17-year-old son a happy birthday, lamenting how long it had been since she dreamed of him. Mom, Caleb said softly. She wiped her eyes, and her face became a mask of indifference when she saw him. She asked why he was still dawdling, if he was going to be late for school. "But Mom, it's my 17th birthday too." Why couldn't she say it to him? Biting his lip, he slammed the front door behind him and ran. He ran into the sharp morning wind, gulping down the cold air. The white mist of his breath felt like all the sadness he was trying to exhale, trying to leave behind. But it was endless. Ethan. Ethan. If you already had Ethan, why did you need me? He remembered the day by the river, the day Ethan died. Why did you save me? I hate you. You left me here to live in your shadow forever. He rounded a corner and slammed directly into Liam. Liam's arms shot out to catch him, but the momentum was too much, and they both tumbled to the ground. What's wrong? Liam's voice was laced with concern, his expression startled. Caleb was breathless, utterly humiliated, certain he looked a complete mess. He buried his face in Liam's jacket, gripping the fabric and taking deep, shuddering breaths to calm himself. Liam waited patiently. After a moment, he gently told Caleb they were making a scene. Caleb scrambled to his feet and offered a hand to pull Liam up. Once they were standing, Liam asked again what had happened. Caleb shook his head, mumbling an excuse about running late. Liam clearly didn't believe him but didn't press. His voice softened as he asked if it wasn't his birthday, telling him he shouldn't be upset. Caleb's eyes widened. He asked how Liam knew. Liam explained he'd seen it on a student file while helping in the office. He swung his backpack around and pulled out a gift bag, saying he'd meant for it to be a surprise later, but he didn't want Caleb to be sad all day. Happy birthday, Caleb. It was already a surprise. Caleb carefully opened the bag, a warmth spreading across his face, a sting behind his nose. This was his gift. His alone. It had nothing to do with Ethan. It was just for him, until he saw what was inside. He looked at the Star Wars model kit, and the smile froze on his face. All the warmth vanished, replaced by an icy dread. Caleb? Liam's voice was uncertain, seeing him stand there so still. Caleb shoved the model back into the bag and thrust it at him. What is this? Liam was stunned, a rare flicker of panic in his eyes as he asked if Caleb didn't like it. Why would I like this? Caleb's voice was rising. I don't like it. His eyes burned, and he fought to keep his breath steady, to hide the tremor in his voice. He shouted that he hated models, hated sci-fi, hated all of this ridiculous stuff. The things Ethan loved. The things that made Ethan happy. He hated all of it. A cold gust of wind cut through his sweat-drenched shirt, and he shivered. Liam's lips were a thin, tight line. He stood silent for a long moment before bending down to pick up the gift bag that had fallen. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I misunderstood. I thought you liked it. You thought, Caleb sneered. He shoved past Liam's shoulder and strode away. That morning, for the first time ever, Liam was late for school. He had to stand in the hallway for the entire first period. From his classroom window, Caleb watched him. The air was cold, and Liam stood there quietly, not wearing enough, occasionally bowing his head to breathe warmth into his cupped hands. It wasn't long before Jessica slipped out of her class to bring him a thermos. Fine. Let the popular boy have his admirers. Ethan liked him. Jessica liked him. Whether he was cold or not was none of Caleb's business. He pushed the hand warmer his desk mate had just given him back into his bag. On New Year's Eve, the underclassmen held parties in their classrooms. The next day was a holiday, so the school showed some mercy. After the evening study session, Caleb went to a nearby diner by himself and ordered a bowl of soup. He and Ethan had never celebrated their birthdays with friends. Their mom always made a big deal of it, baking a cake, choosing presents, cooking a special meal. It was always the three of them. It used to be four, but his dad had died in a car accident when he was too young to remember his voice. There were things in life that just didn't make sense, like why his identical twin was so much smarter, or why a parent's love couldn't be divided equally. His mother always bought gifts based on Ethan's preferences. 2 identical presents. Ethan would be thrilled. Caleb would have to force a smile. One year, he dared to whisper that he didn't like the gift. The smile vanished from his mother's face. Her voice was ice as she asked what he wanted instead. The stars from the sky? Ethan had immediately jumped in, distracting her with his good grades and how his teachers praised his intelligence, inherited from her. His mother's smile returned, and Caleb was left to silently pick at his food. Later that night, Ethan came to him, saying their mom had been crying secretly, that it was hard for her raising them alone, and that Caleb needed to be more considerate. But Caleb knew she had it hard. He never wanted expensive things. He just wanted a cake that wasn't mango, which he was allergic to. He just wanted a pair of shoes that were his size, not Ethan's. That year, the gift had been a new Gundam model. After placating their mom, Ethan had come to lecture Caleb on being thoughtful. He was the hero and Caleb was the villain. With a cold sneer, Caleb had grabbed Ethan's beloved model and smashed it on the floor. He had taunted Ethan, saying that since he was so perfect, their mom only needed one son. Their mother heard the crash and rushed in. Seeing the broken model, she slapped Caleb across the face. The war was over. Ethan had won. He must have been 14 then. The sting of the slap had long faded, but the memory of being dismissed, of his feelings being invalidated, remained. In the diner, he stared blankly into his soup, and Ethan's face appeared opposite him, smiling, asking why he was only having soup for his 17th birthday. 17. It was just a number. He stirred the broth with his spoon. Suddenly, a small cupcake with a single candle appeared in his vision. He looked up, disappointed. "Oh, it's you." A boy named Ryan smiled back. Ryan had been in Ethan's class, a good friend. After Ethan's death, he'd been visibly devastated, even crying on Caleb's shoulder at the funeral. But life moves on. Ryan wished him a happy birthday, explaining he just picked up the cake, but got held up by a teacher. He'd been wondering if it would be too forward to just show up at his house. Caleb thanked him, genuinely surprised. It wasn't strange for Ryan to remember the date, given his friendship with Ethan, but he hadn't expected a cake. They walked to the riverbank nearby. Ryan lit the 17 shaped candles on the small cake and told him to make a wish. Caleb closed his eyes. The sound of the river filled his ears, and in it, he heard Ethan's voice. "Happy 17th birthday to us." A sudden warmth flooded his eyes. "I hate you, Ethan, but you died too soon." He blew out the candles and looked at Ryan, whose eyes still held a lingering sadness. Caleb smiled faintly, saying that Ryan had really wanted to celebrate with Ethan. Hadn't he? Ryan didn't deny it. "I'm sorry," he whispered, his voice trembling as he suddenly pulled Caleb into a tight hug. I dreamed of him last night. I wanted to see what he would look like on his 17th birthday. But I'm not Ethan," Caleb said, his voice flat, feeling a cruel satisfaction. "And Ethan isn't 17 anymore." Ryan froze, his grip loosening. Caleb looked straight into his tear-blurred eyes. "Ethan's right here," he said, tapping his own chest. "And here." He pointed to his eyes. "He knows everything. He won't be moved by your self-deception." He grabbed his bag and walked away. As he turned, he saw Liam. He was standing in the shadows, away from the streetlights, watching them. His expression was unreadable. It was impossible to know how long he'd been there. As Caleb passed him, Liam caught his arm, asking why he didn't eat the cake. Caleb tried to pull away, saying birthday cake wasn't for eating. Liam started pulling him along, saying he would get him another one, give him another wish. It was absurd. Caleb yanked his arm free, saying he didn't need it. Then what do you need? Liam's voice was uncharacteristically forceful as he pulled Caleb around to face him. You don't tell me anything. I don't know what you like. What I like. A sly, ambiguous smile played on Caleb's lips. Haven't you figured it out? What I like is you. Liam's gaze flickered, his lips pressed tight. Why don't you let me kiss you? Caleb took a step forward, a birthday present to myself. He leaned in, but Liam turned his head at the last second. The kiss landed on his cheek. It was cold. So you don't like me? Caleb said, a note of feigned disappointment in his voice. Guess I'll have to go after Ryan instead. Don't. Liam cut in, his eyes like the dark, churning river behind them. But his tone was icy. Is your affection always this casual? The day had been awful. He wanted to keep pushing, to say something else outrageous, but Liam's expression silenced him. For a split second, he thought he heard Ethan's voice, sighing softly. Who was the sigh for? Liam or him? Liam was so close to taking the bait, so close to falling for him. But then what? Would he win his heart only to shatter it? Would he live out the romance Ethan never could? Or did he just want Ethan's ghost to watch, helpless? His lips trembled, but no words came out. The next day was New Year's Day. He spent it at his desk, working through practice exams. Liam was right about one thing. Only when you were solving a problem did the world truly go quiet. That afternoon, he got a text from Ryan, apologizing for the night before and inviting him to a movie. After ignoring it for an hour, he relented. Ryan hadn't done anything wrong, and Caleb had been cruel. He agreed. After the movie, they went for burgers. Ryan, still apologetic, brought up the previous night again. His earnestness made Caleb feel a pang of guilt. He told Ryan to drop it, admitting his own mood had been terrible and he'd used him as a punching bag. Ryan finally relaxed, mentioning that they really weren't alike at all. Caleb, stirring his milkshake, agreed. Ryan recalled how, when they first met, he always mistook Caleb for Ethan at school. He then lowered his voice, asking if Caleb didn't think it was strange that he, Ryan, liked Ethan. Caleb was confused. What was strange about it? Plenty of people probably liked him. But we're both guys, Ryan clarified. Caleb understood then. He reassured Ryan his secret was safe. That wasn't what Ryan meant. He just seemed lost, and confessed he didn't know if he was gay, or if it was just Ethan. He didn't know who to talk to about it. Caleb told him it wasn't strange at all. At his words, Ryan's unfocused gaze sharpened. He explained that love was love, regardless of gender, and that what mattered was being at peace with yourself. Besides, he added, Ethan was the same. He didn't tell Ryan the whole story, not wanting to imagine his reaction. After eating, they took the bus home. Caleb got off first. As the bus pulled away, he saw Ryan still watching him through the window and gave him a small wave. A voice came from beside him, startling him. You and Ryan are that close? It was Liam. He stood in the cold wind, his eyes as dark as the night. Caleb pulled his scarf tighter, saying they were just getting to know each other. He noticed a bookstore bag in Liam's hand and asked if he'd been buying books. Liam said yes, and that he'd picked up some review books for him, too. A complicated feeling washed over Caleb. He mumbled that he thought Liam was ignoring him. Liam's voice was steady. I said I'd help you study. I keep my promises. They walked the rest of the way home in silence. Caleb felt a dull throb in his head, his breathing growing heavy. The books Liam was carrying looked heavy, so he offered to help, but as he pulled his hand from his pocket, the movie ticket stub came out with it. Liam bent to pick it up, glanced at it, and commented that Caleb had gone to the movies with Ryan. Caleb took the bag of books, confirming it. Liam asked if it was any good. Caleb said it was fine. Then Liam asked, his voice laced with a strange edge, why he hadn't invited Ryan over to watch Brokeback Mountain. Caleb stopped dead. "Why are you being so passive-aggressive?" Liam replied that he wasn't, but Caleb insisted he was. He walked a few more steps, the accusation festering, and kicked at a loose stone on the sidewalk. His foggy brain couldn't manage complex thought, and a single, unfiltered sentence burst out. "Fine, I was doing it on purpose before. So what? If you think I'm so manipulative, then just leave me alone." Liam didn't speak, which only made Caleb angrier. He spun around to block his path. "Liam, do you just see me as some kind of joke?" Liam looked at him, a long, assessing gaze. "I don't." "You do. You absolutely do. It was you who just admitted it," Liam said, his tone suddenly shifting from passive to active. "So what's the play here? What's this whole performance about? Maybe if you explain the script, I'll consider believing you." The tables had turned. Caleb's foggy mind stalled. He was speechless. He hadn't realized how their dynamic had shifted, how he had been pursuing Liam all this time. "I already told you," he stammered, backpedaling. "I like you." "When did you say that?" "Last night." "So all this was you pursuing me?" Liam asked. "Can it be?" "It can," Liam said with a faint, unreadable smile. "You can say whatever you want." Caleb was frustrated at how the conversation had spiraled. He grumbled that it was just a whim, and now he wasn't interested anymore. So Liam shouldn't take it seriously. "As you wish," Liam said. He reached out and pressed the back of his hand to Caleb's forehead. "You're burning up." His brows furrowed. "Didn't you know you have a fever? Do you have any medicine at home?" The topic had shifted again, leaving Caleb dizzy. He mumbled that he thought so. Liam went home with him. Caleb didn't want to take any medicine, but the thermometer confirmed a high temperature. Liam wasted no time, popping a capsule from its foil, prying Caleb's mouth open with one hand, and pushing the pill in with the other. In protest, Caleb lightly bit his finger. Liam pulled his hand back, looked down at it, and raised an eyebrow, as if Caleb had done it on purpose. He hadn't. Annoyed, Caleb pulled the covers over his head and lay down. After a while, hearing no movement, he opened his eyes. Liam was standing by his desk, looking up at the Star Wars models on the shelf above it. Caleb tugged at his blanket. "Those were my brothers." Liam pointed to one of them. "This one too?" Caleb asked what about it. Liam explained that one year, he had seen Caleb at a hobby shop, desperately asking the staff if they could glue a broken model back together. He remembered how anxious Caleb had looked and assumed he loved it. It was the very same model he had smashed on the floor that day, the birthday gift. Ethan had been heartbroken for days. Caleb, feeling a pang of guilt after his anger subsided, had secretly taken it out to see if it could be repaired. A moment of silence passed. "I don't like it," Caleb finally said. "I was just getting it fixed because I'm the one who broke it." Liam walked over and sat on the edge of the bed. He asked softly why Caleb still kept them on display if he disliked them so much. Caleb scoffed, muttering that his mom would have a meltdown if he put them away. Liam seemed to hesitate before saying that before Caleb's birthday, he had actually asked his aunt, and she had said Caleb liked them. She'd even mentioned that the brothers used to fight over them. "She has no idea what I like," Caleb grumbled. He bit his lip, then turned to Liam. I'm sorry about yesterday morning. I shouldn't have yelled at you like that. Liam's reaction was calm, making it impossible to tell if he cared or not. He simply asked why Caleb had gotten so angry, if he was willing to tell him. How could he explain? Some things were impossible for others to understand. After thinking for a moment, he said that he was just petty, that he was jealous of Ethan and hated anything associated with him. Okay, Liam said, not pushing further. If there's anything else you hate or like, you can tell me in the future. Caleb burrowed deeper into his blankets. As Liam looked down at him, a question popped into his head. Liam, did you ever mix me and my brother up? Liam nodded. But once I found a little trick to tell you apart, I never got it wrong again. Puzzled, Caleb asked what the trick was. A smile played on Liam's lips. He suddenly leaned down, bracing one hand on the pillow beside Caleb's head. His presence was overwhelming, his breath warm. Caleb's own breath caught, and he turned his head away, mumbling that he didn't want to get Liam sick. Don't move, Liam said, his other hand gently turning Caleb's face back toward him. I'll show you. His thumb traced the edge of Caleb's right eye. You never noticed? The proximity was dizzying, the voice too close, the heartbeat in his ears too loud. He reflexively shut his eyes. There's a tiny mole on the lid of this eye. His eyelashes trembled. Of course he knew. It was a faint mark, hidden in the crease of his eyelid, invisible when he blinked. Who would ever notice something like that? Not wanting to seem flustered, he forced his eyes open, meeting Liam's intense gaze. You've been secretly watching me. I noticed by accident, Liam said, his thumb still gently stroking Caleb's eyelid. After that, whenever I saw you two, I'd instinctively look at your right eyes. Every time I saw the mole, I knew who was Caleb. He spoke the name like a spell, his eyes locked on Caleb's, his voice a low, steady murmur. Caleb felt paralyzed, only his heart and his blinking eyes still functioning. You just took medicine, Liam said, finally straightening up and giving him space. Get some rest. Caleb quietly exhaled, the tension finally leaving his body. Thanks to Liam's help, Caleb's final exam scores were the best they'd ever been. He had never expected much from himself, but seeing the report card, he felt a genuine spark of pride. The feeling lasted until he got home that evening and handed the card to his mother. For a moment, she smiled, offering a rare not bad, you've improved. But then her thoughts drifted back to Ethan. She sighed, a wistful, sorrowful sound. If only your brother were still here. It was like a dusty wind that instantly coated his joy in a layer of grime. Yes, if Ethan were here, he'd be number one. Caleb's scores would be nothing to show off. A message from Liam lit up his phone. He'd done so well, Liam wrote, that he deserved a reward. Lying on his bed, Caleb typed back listlessly, thanking Professor Liam. He wasn't greedy, he added. A polite kiss would be a sufficient reward. Liam didn't reply for a long time. Caleb figured he was ignoring his shameless flirting and shoved his phone under his pillow. A few moments later, it buzzed. Didn't you say you weren't pursuing me anymore? Before he could reply, another message came through. Save it for later. An involuntary smile spread across his face. The holidays came and went. New Year's Eve, the first one since Ethan's death, was a bleak affair with just him and his mother. After a simple, silent dinner in front of the blaring television, she went to bed, leaving Caleb alone in the cold, quiet house. He bundled up and went out. The streets were mostly empty, the only warmth coming from the sounds of celebration spilling from other people's homes. He found himself walking toward Liam's neighborhood. He'd texted earlier, but Liam hadn't responded. Now that he was here, he hesitated, unsure if he should disturb him. Then he noticed the front door to Liam's ground floor apartment was ajar. The hallway light was broken, and a single, thin line of light escaped from the crack in the door. Inside, it was unnervingly silent. He peered through the gap and saw a scene of devastation. Broken plates and leftover food littered the floor. Liam was crouching in the middle of it all, cleaning up. He suddenly hissed, pulling his hand back, evidently cut by a shard. Then he just stopped, frozen in place, blood dripping onto the floorboards unnoticed. His parents had fought again, this time on New Year's Eve, and left him alone in the wreckage. "Liam," Caleb said, pushing the door open. Liam turned his head slowly, his eyes unfocused, as if seeing a ghost. Took him a moment to recognize him. "Caleb." Caleb knelt in front of him, took his hand, and said he needed to put a bandage on the cut. Liam just stared at him. Caleb waved a hand in front of his face, and he finally seemed to snap out of his trance. "Caleb," he said again, his voice more present this time. Caleb asked if he was okay. Liam pushed himself up slowly, steadying himself against his knees. He swayed, likely from crouching for too long, and pressed a hand to his forehead. After a moment, he explained that after listening to them fight for so long, the sudden silence felt dreamlike. He looked at Caleb again, asking why he was there. Caleb forced a light-hearted tone, saying his own house was too quiet and he hadn't eaten much. He suggested they have a second New Year's Eve dinner together. That night, they cleaned up the mess and then raided Liam's fridge, making 2 large bowls of instant noodles loaded with whatever they could find. With a small space heater blasting at their feet, they drank cold beer and watched the rest of the New Year's broadcast, laughing at a comedy sketch. As the countdown began, they watched together. On the first second of the new year, Liam turned to him, a rare, genuine smile on his face, and wished him a happy new year. Maybe it was the beer, but Caleb felt dizzy looking at that smile. He smiled back, wishing Liam happiness every day. Outside, fireworks began to pop. In that moment, Caleb felt a profound sense of peace and exhaustion. It was the strange power of ritual, the belief that the turn of a page could truly leave the old year behind. A pleasant weariness settled into his bones, and he felt like he could melt into the promise of the coming spring. He thought the year had ended on a note of quiet contentment. He could never have imagined that even this small piece of peace would soon be shattered. From that day on, he would hate winter. Winter was cruel and desolate. Winter was a season of death. Ethan died in the winter, and Liam's home died in the winter too. Caleb slept over at Liam's that night. When he woke late the next morning, he could hear Liam's parents in the living room. They were back, and they were arguing again. His mother wanted a divorce. His father refused, holding the marriage certificate hostage. The argument escalated, the sounds of a physical fight beginning. It was an awkward position for Caleb, trapped in the bedroom. He rolled over and met Liam's eyes. He was already awake, no trace of sleep on his face. He asked if they had woken him. Caleb shook his head and shuffled closer, whispering, asking why his dad wouldn't just agree to the divorce. Liam's expression tightened. Caleb quickly added that he was just asking, that he didn't have to answer. But Liam replied in a normal tone, explaining that his father suspected his mother was having an affair and thought the divorce was just an excuse to be with another man. It was a story Caleb had heard pieces of through neighborhood gossip. Liam's mother, Jiang Rong, had been a vibrant, popular woman with many admirers, his father, Zhou Wenjin, being just one of them. She had been in love with a musician, but her family, seeing that Wenjin had a small business and some money, had arranged the marriage. Wenjin's business had failed shortly before they moved into the neighborhood, and he had never recovered. Jiangrong started a small business of her own, but rumors, fueled by jealous men and Wenjin's own insecurity, began to circulate about her infidelity. The constant accusations and fights became the soundtrack of their lives. Liam explained that his mother's affection for him had always been conditional, providing for his basic needs but offering little warmth. He used to try to defend her during their fights, but she would just tell him to go to his room and mind his own business. Eventually, he stopped trying. Liam picked up his phone and a headphone splitter, handing a pair of earbuds to Caleb. He said this was how he blocked out the noise. The music that blasted through the headphones was a ferocious heavy metal track. Caleb glanced at Liam, who was lying back with his eyes closed. He knew he wasn't asleep. He was just seeking refuge in the noise. Song after song played. After a long time, Caleb took off the headphones and realized the living room had gone silent. He crept to the door, listened for a moment, then carefully opened it a crack. One glance and his blood ran cold. His soul seemed to detach from his body, floating up to observe the scene from above. The blood-soaked living room, his own face draining of color. "What is it?" Liam's voice came from behind him. His soul snapped back. His first instinct was to turn and cover Liam's eyes. "Don't look," he heard himself say, his voice shaking. "Don't look." Liam stood frozen as Caleb held his hands over his eyes. After a few seconds, his lips moved, but no sound came out. He raised his own hands and, with a firm grip, slowly pulled Caleb's away. His eyes opened. His eyelashes fluttered, and then his pupils contracted violently. Everything collapsed, spiraling into the black holes of his eyes until there was nothing left. His father and mother were lying in pools of their own blood, each holding a knife. They had killed each other. After years of fighting, no one could have imagined their marriage would end so brutally. Liam turned to Caleb, his expression blank. "I didn't hear anything," he said. A sharp pain lanced through Caleb's heart. He pulled Liam into a hug, pressing his head against his shoulder. "It's not your fault," he whispered. He could feel Liam's body begin to tremble, the tremors growing more violent. Caleb didn't know what to do but hold him tighter. After a long time, Liam pulled away. He hadn't shed a single tear. He took a deep breath, his voice eerily calm. "Call the police." In that single, horrific moment, Liam's youth ended, just as Caleb's had the winter before. When he had stood on the riverbank and looked at a body with his own face and felt nothing but a hollow emptiness. But Caleb knew that one day, the tears would come. The frozen grief would eventually thaw. "It's okay," Caleb said, taking his hand. "Liam, don't be afraid. I'll stay with you." Liam's hand gripped his in return, tight, as if he was afraid Caleb would vanish. The months that followed were a blur for Liam. He arranged his parents' funerals and began living alone. When school started again, he returned as if nothing had happened, but he was more silent than ever. That year, fate dealt everyone an unexpected hand. Caleb did surprisingly well on his final exams, well enough to get into a top state university. Ryan also got into the same school, though for him it was a disappointment. His grades had been good enough for an Ivy League. But the biggest surprise was Liam. His scores were still high, but he made a decision no one could understand. He announced he was going to study mortuary science. The teachers thought he was insane. They argued that his scores were more than good enough for a regular university, that he didn't have to throw his future away. But Liam was resolute. Caleb, for some reason, felt like he understood. Liam had once told him that studying was the only time the world was quiet. Maybe going to Boston had been about escaping the noise of his home. Perhaps he had never aspired to a grand career like everyone else. And with the weight of his parents' deaths, He was likely torturing himself with what-ifs, wondering if he could have stopped it had he not been listening to music. Choosing a profession that dealt with death was, perhaps, another way of seeking silence. One evening, on the riverbank, Caleb told Liam that as long as it was a decision he had thought through, he supported him. Life wasn't a single path, and they were too young to know right from wrong. He told him to do what he felt he needed to do. "Anything I want?" Liam asked, his voice low. Caleb nodded. Liam took a small step forward, cupped Caleb's face, and pressed a soft kiss to his right eyelid, right where the tiny mole was. The mark he had once said was his proof of knowing Caleb. Caleb's mind went blank. An incredible impulse took over. He grabbed the back of Liam's head, tilted his own up, and pressed a quick, firm kiss to his lips. When he pulled back, Liam was looking at him, a soft light in his eyes. He asked if he could kiss him again, but he didn't wait for an answer. It was Caleb's first real kiss. A dizzying, electric feeling shot through him, his heart pounding so hard his fitness tracker buzzed with a high heart rate alert. Startled, he pushed Liam away and fumbled to silence the notification. Liam laughed, a low, warm sound, and pulled him into a hug. "Caleb," he whispered into his ear, "I like you so much." Caleb rested his head on Liam's shoulder, looking at the dark, flowing river. "I did it, Ethan," he thought. "He said he likes me, so we're going to be together now. I hope you don't mind." That summer was scorching hot. In September, Caleb packed his bags and left for college, while Liam remained in their hometown. The distance wasn't insurmountable, just a 3-hour train ride. They took turns visiting each other every weekend. In his sophomore year, Caleb transferred into the computer science program, the major Ethan had always wanted. His life, it seemed, would forever be intertwined with his twins. He was dating the boy his brother loved, studying the major his brother had chosen. Sometimes he would dream of the icy river. But in the dream, he was the one being pulled under, while Ethan stood on the bank, smiling faintly, asking Caleb to give him his life back. By their junior year, Liam was interning at the city morgue. Caleb started thinking about grad school. Ryan suggested they apply to programs abroad together, and he mentioned it to Caleb's mother. She was thrilled, saying money wouldn't be an issue. She had been saving for years, a fund originally intended for her genius son, Ethan. Now that he was gone, and Caleb had unexpectedly met the academic qualifications, the opportunity was passed down to him. Caleb was torn. He knew that getting into a good school abroad would make his mother happy, and deep down he still craved her approval. But going abroad was different from being in a different state. He and Liam couldn't afford constant international flights. He wanted to talk to Liam about it, but his mother brought it up first at the dinner table while Liam was visiting. She asked Caleb what he had decided. He instinctively glanced at Liam, afraid he would be upset about being kept in the dark. He squeezed Liam's hand under the table and told his mother he hadn't made up his mind yet. She immediately put down her chopsticks, her voice sharp. She reminded him that money wasn't a problem and that Ryan said he had a good chance of getting in. What was there to think about? Liam squeezed his hand back, hard. Caleb mumbled that there were good schools in the country, too. His mother cut him off with a cold scoff, saying he had no ambition, unlike his brother. She caught herself, realizing a guest was present, but the atmosphere had already turned frigid. After dinner, Caleb rushed Liam out of the house. Liam was silent until they reached a quiet alleyway. He pushed Caleb against the wall. "Was I going to be the last to know?" he demanded. Caleb wrapped his arms around Liam's waist, trying to placate him, explaining he had wanted to discuss it, but his mom had ambushed them. "There's nothing to discuss," Liam said, his face a hard mask. "You're not going. And you're definitely not going with Ryan." Caleb laughed. "Are you jealous? Shouldn't I be? You two are together all day in class." Caleb dismissed it, saying Ryan was just looking out for him because of Ethan. Liam gave a cold, humorless smile. He leaned in close, his lips hovering inches from Caleb's. "You're so good," he murmured. It would be normal for him to transfer his affections. "You're the only one who doesn't see it." "You're the only one who thinks I'm that good," Caleb replied, and closed the distance between them. The kiss was long and intense, growing from gentle to fierce until Caleb was breathless. He broke away, gasping for air, his arms tight around Liam's neck. "Let's go to your place," he whispered, his throat dry. That night, Liam's passion was overwhelming, almost desperate. Felt like he was pleading with his body, trying to hold on to something. Afterwards, as they lay tangled in the sheets, Caleb asked if he really, truly didn't want him to go abroad. Liam, his head resting on the pillow beside Caleb's, looked at him. His eyelashes were damp with sweat, his beautiful dark eyes filled with a raw, bright vulnerability that made Caleb's heart ache. "Yes," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "I really, really, really don't want you to leave me, Caleb." Having made the decision not to go abroad, Caleb felt a sense of relief, even as his mother's disappointment settled over the house like a permanent chill. A few days later, however, Ryan found Liam. Liam had never liked him, finding his polite, well-bred demeanor vaguely aggressive. Ryan asked if it was Liam's hope that Caleb not go abroad. Liam stated coolly that it was Caleb's own decision. Ryan smiled, conceding that while the final choice was Caleb's, Liam had certainly tipped the scales. He then changed tactics, asking if Liam knew how much Caleb craved his mother's approval. He explained that going abroad was his mother's dream for her son, the only one she had left. He painted a picture of a deepening rift between mother and son, a wound that might never heal. He questioned Liam's motives, asking him what he was so afraid of. The words hit their mark. Liam's carefully constructed composure began to crack. He accused Ryan of trying to mold Caleb into an idealized version of Ethan. Ryan didn't deny it, simply stating that there was nothing wrong with pushing someone to be better. He argued that if Caleb didn't share that ambition, he wouldn't have been so jealous of his brother in the first place. Liam felt himself being persuaded, not by the logic of ambition, but by the sudden, piercing question of what Caleb truly wanted. He realized he had been holding on too tightly, trying to keep Caleb rooted beside him when Caleb wasn't a tree. Caleb was a storm of emotions, of wants and needs. Liam knew he had to let him make his own choice, even if it was the wrong one. Like his own choice to walk toward death to make peace with it, everyone had their own war to wage. He told Ryan he would think about it. One weekend, Caleb was home from college. His mom was out, so he invited Liam over to use his faster internet for gaming. They played for a while, but a string of bad teammates soured Caleb's mood. He threw his headset down in frustration. Liam just laughed, rolled his chair back, and held out a hand. Caleb took it and swung himself into Liam's lap. "Bad day at school, too?" Liam asked, his hands settling on Caleb's waist. Caleb admitted he'd been busy and stressed. Liam gently chided him for not saying so, saying he would have come to visit instead. Caleb just leaned down and kissed him, melting into the familiar comfort. "Caleb, what are you doing?" The angry shout shattered the moment. His mother stood in the doorway, her face a mask of fury. She had come home early. She stormed into the room, ripped Caleb out of Liam's lap, and slapped him hard across the face. "Have you no shame?" she shrieked. "It's bad enough you're lazy and unmotivated, but now this? With a man?" Liam tried to intervene, but she shoved him away, screaming at him to get out, that this was her son he was corrupting. Her rage turned back to Caleb. This is why you won't go abroad, isn't it? For him. You are a disgrace. How could I have a son like you? You're not worth a single hair on your brother's head. Hearing those words, after all this time, was like a punch to the gut. A cold, sharp laugh escaped Caleb's lips. You're right. I'm nothing like Ethan, he said, his voice dripping with venom. But on this one thing, he was no different from me. His mother froze. He strode to his desk, unlocked a drawer, and pulled out Ethan's journal, his phone, the piece of paper covered in Liam's name. He threw them on the floor in front of her. Look, Mom. Look who your perfect son was in love with. He was just as shameless as I am. He stalked him. He took pictures of him. He wasn't the saint you remember. His mother sank to the floor, her hands trembling as she opened the diary. Caleb watched, a grim satisfaction twisting in his gut as her face crumpled, her eyes filling with tears. She slammed the book shut and launched herself at Liam, her eyes blazing with hatred. It was you, she screamed, clawing at him. You're the pervert. You dragged both my sons into this. You're going to destroy this family. She shoved him out of the room and down the stairs. Liam, Caleb cried, rushing to help him up. He turned back to his mother. If you have a problem, take it out on me. If you don't end it with him, she said, her voice shaking with rage, then you are no longer my son. The door slammed shut, the sound echoing in the stairwell like a gunshot. A quiet war began. His mother demanded he break up with Liam and go abroad, convinced Liam was the problem. The constant fighting wore Caleb down. Ryan, seeing his distress, gently suggested that maybe, for now, he should listen to his mother about going abroad. He argued that time and distance might soften her stance, that if their love was real, it could survive a few years apart. Caleb knew there was some logic in it. If agreeing to go could bring some temporary peace, maybe it was worth considering. He had to have more faith in his relationship with Liam. Later, he was sitting by the campus lake with Ryan, lost in thought, when Liam's voice broke through the haze. He hadn't even noticed how close Ryan had gotten, his arm draped along the back of the bench. Caleb immediately stood up. Ryan gave Liam a polite nod and left. They walked in silence for a while. It had been days since the fight, days since Caleb had asked for space. He missed him. He reached out and took Liam's hand. Liam asked how things were with his mother. Caleb just sighed, not daring to tell him the full extent of it, that his mother had threatened to report Liam to his school. Instead, he tentatively brought up the idea of going abroad, of pretending to break up to appease her. He tried to make it sound casual, like a strategic retreat. It's only for 2 years, he said, trying to convince them both. We can video chat. It's not forever. Liam stopped walking. He looked at Caleb, his dark eyes unfathomably deep. Let's break up, he said. The words didn't register. What? Caleb, he said, his voice quiet but firm. Let's break up. For a while. Caleb was stunned. This wasn't the plan. He grabbed Liam's shirt. You misunderstood. I meant we should pretend to fool my mom. It's a strategy. I don't actually want to break up with you. Do you really love me? The question came out of nowhere, completely derailing him. Caleb, think about it. Do you really love me? Or do you just love the feeling of taking something your brother wanted? It was like being doused in ice water. He let go of his shirt, then grabbed it again, stammering. Of course I love you. Maybe at first it was just curiosity, but it's been years. Can't you feel it? Liam was silent for a long moment. I don't know, he finally said. Everything is different from how I thought. I'm confused. Right now, I think some time apart is the best thing for both of us. I don't, Caleb insisted, his mind blank except for that single point of protest. Caleb, Liam said, his voice laced with a weary rationality that made Caleb's own emotions feel fragile and chaotic. We didn't start in the right way or at the right time. Right now, I am not the main story of your life. If you feel that going abroad is the right choice for you now, then you should do it. Don't be afraid of making the wrong choice. Even if you regret it later, that's still an answer. His composure was infuriating. Caleb felt tears welling up and raised his voice to hide it. What answer? I don't need an answer. I don't understand what you're talking about. He was too agitated to continue. Fine, he choked out. If you want to break up, then fine. He turned to leave, but Liam pulled him back, his own eyes suddenly red-rimmed. He held him tight. You can understand, Caleb. Whether it's me or anything else. You need to decide if you want to make peace or cut ties. If you truly want something, or if it's just because you couldn't have it before. You need to find your own answers. You are Caleb. You need to have Caleb's answers. Stop living in your brother's shadow. Caleb buried his face in Liam's shoulder, inhaling his scent, tears finally streaming down his face. Liam, his first love. The boy Ethan had been so obsessed with. It wasn't the real goodbye yet, but they were already apart. It wasn't until he saw Caleb's mother lunge at him that Liam realized he had been wrong about something fundamental. Ethan had been in love with him, and Caleb had said he stalked him like a pervert, which meant the person following him all those years ago had been Ethan. It was early in their freshman year of high school. Liam noticed someone was following him. At first he thought it was a school bully and braced for a fight, but the person never did anything but follow. Since there was no danger, Liam ignored it. He knew it was a guy from his school. He'd glimpsed the uniform. The technique was sloppy. One day, the stalker made a huge mistake, forgetting to turn off the shutter sound on his phone while taking a picture. The click was loud in the quiet alley. Liam spun around and demanded to know who was there. The person scrambled away, but like Cinderella's slipper, a name tag was left behind on the ground. Liam picked it up. The name on it was Caleb. He put it back where he found it. How could he have known that the twins had swapped name tags that day as a prank? The name seemed familiar, and he remembered the identical twins who lived nearby. After that, he started paying attention to the brother he believed to be Caleb. At first, he couldn't tell them apart, but after careful observation, he discovered the tiny mole on Caleb's right eyelid. It was strange how that tiny mark always caught his eye. The stalking continued, but in person, Caleb acted completely indifferent to him, more interested in bickering with his brother. Liam found it fascinating. This boy was clearly obsessed with him, yet could feign total disinterest. He had some experience with secret admirers, but he never would have guessed it was Caleb if he hadn't found the name tag. Then, junior year, Ethan died. At the memorial, Liam saw Caleb. He was pale and had clearly been crying, but as he watched his mother collapse in grief, he stood unervingly still. Liam approached him and offered his condolences. Caleb looked at him and said something that stuck with him for years. Do you believe me if I say that if I were the one in that coffin, my mother wouldn't be crying like this? The mix of numbness, grief, and rage on Caleb's face was something Liam never forgot. It was after that, in their senior year, that Caleb's behavior toward him changed completely, becoming bold and persistent. Liam was surprised, but not entirely. The stalking stopped. He wondered what had prompted the change. Perhaps his brother's death had made him realize life was too short for timid crushes. Liam watched and waited, fielding all of Caleb's tests and provocations. In his mind, it was a game where he already knew his opponent's cards. But somewhere along the way, in the midst of the dull routine of studying for exams, he found himself genuinely intrigued. And that small bit of intrigue was enough to pull him in. He knew his own family was a ticking time bomb, destined to fall apart. But he never imagined the end would be so violent. That day, when he heard Destiny screaming from his living room, his world shattered. And then Caleb turned and held him. The screaming receded. In that moment, silence. The thing that brought him peace was the best thing. As he and Caleb grew closer, Liam started to notice that Caleb's mind was often elsewhere. He was carrying so much. He knew about the tension with his mother, the complicated love-hate for his brother. But even knowing all that, Caleb's inner world often felt like a chaotic fog to him. When the truth about Ethan's feelings came out, the pieces finally clicked into place. He had been wrong from the very beginning. The admirer, the one who had first caught his attention, wasn't Caleb. It was a mismatch, like a key that fits a lock but can't turn the tumbler. For the first time, Liam felt a profound sense of uncertainty. Maybe they were too young. When all the problems came at once, the emotional confusion, the decision about going abroad, Caleb's mother's violent opposition, they didn't know how to face it. But since Caleb had made a choice, his choice was to leave. So, as he had thought before, it was best to let him go, let him find his own answers. Better to press pause now than to let things get so tangled they could never be undone. So he said the words, "Let's break up." He spent 2 years abroad. The story of their breakup felt like a cliché until it happened to him. He was preparing to return home after his mother was diagnosed with a serious illness. At his farewell party, a drunk Ryan confessed his love, begging for a chance and offering to give up his career to follow him home. Caleb gently but firmly turned him down. Ryan asked if it was still about Liam. When Caleb didn't answer, he insisted that there had to be something between them after all these years. Caleb apologized. Ryan, usually so composed, lost it for a moment, asking what was so great about Liam. A guy who had peaked in high school and settled for a technical college, while Caleb had a brilliant future. They weren't on the same path. He didn't settle, Caleb said softly. He had his reasons. He remembered his mom once asking if he was going to get a PhD. He had immediately said no, and she had hung up on him. He didn't know if this counted as his answer, but he had chosen her path once, and it hadn't brought him any peace. He returned to the city where he'd attended college, as the medical facilities were better for his mother. He found a decent job. His mother's health declined rapidly. One day at the hospital, she saw a young man brought in from an ambulance after a suicide attempt. She recognized him instantly. He was the boy Ethan had drowned saving all those years ago. She followed the gurney to the emergency room and waited. When the doctor came out and announced he hadn't made it, his mother's grief was more explosive than the family's. She screamed that he had no right to die, that her son had given his life for him. She turned on Caleb, her eyes full of hatred, asking if he regretted it, why he had to be a hero when he couldn't even save himself. It was his fault his brother was dead. Her grief was a physical force, and after that day, she faded quickly. Liam was the mortician who came to collect the body of the young man. In the sterile, bustling hospital corridor, their eyes met for a fleeting second. He was wearing a mask. The timing was wrong. The place was wrong. Neither of them said a word. In the end, his mother was moved to hospice care. Her mind began to wander, and she started confusing him with Ethan. She would talk to him for hours, reminiscing about Ethan's childhood. Sometimes, Caleb would leave her room feeling completely disoriented. Was he Ethan? Maybe she had only ever had one son. The day she was dying, he sat by her bed and held her hand. "Mom," he whispered. Her eyes fluttered open. "Ethan," she breathed. "You're here." "Mom, it's Caleb," he said gently. She didn't hear him. She said he was there to take her away, a blissful smile spreading across her face. He tried again, his voice thick with desperation. "Mom, it's Caleb. Don't you have anything to say to me?" Her eyes glazed over, looking at the ceiling. Her last words were a faint whisper about Ethan. "Your brother. He's so foolish." And then she was gone. The heart monitor flatlined. Her last thought of him was that his brother was foolish. Liam was the one who came for her body. Caleb watched him prepare her for the funeral. He watched through a glass window as Liam applied her makeup, making her look peaceful, as if she were only sleeping. He combed her hair himself, the simple act bringing back a flood of memories from a time when she used to laugh with him. When did it all change? He couldn't remember. During the vigil, he knelt by her coffin for hours, numb with cold and grief. A coat was draped over his shoulders. It was Liam. He helped him to his feet, his legs stiff and unresponsive. Caleb stumbled, and Liam caught him. He leaned against him, feeling his warmth, and a dam inside him broke. "You called me Caleb," he said, his voice raw. "So there really were two of us? I'm not just a ghost?" "Of course not," Liam said, cupping his face. His thumb brushed over his right eyelid. "This is still here, isn't it? I told you this is how I always knew it was you." "Then why?" Caleb asked, his voice cracking. Couldn't she remember to say one thing to Caleb at the end? "Caleb," Liam said softly, "like spicy food and hates sweets. He's allergic to mangoes. He despises sci-fi, especially Star Wars. He loves weird art house films. He's emotional and has a temper. When he's scared, he puts up walls, but he's actually easy to soothe." Caleb couldn't help but say that this Caleb sounded like a lot of trouble. "No one's perfect," Liam said, his hand gripping Caleb's, warm and steady. "That's Caleb. You are Caleb. The good and the bad, you're the only one in the world." In that moment, holding his hand, Caleb felt a strength he hadn't felt in years. He felt safe. While clearing out his mother's belongings, he found a small box. Inside were their baby footprints, their first haircuts, a photo from when they were 100 days old. On the back, in her handwriting, it said, "Ethan and Caleb, you are both gifts. May you grow up happy." She had loved him once. Somewhere along the way, the delicate threads of that love had gotten tangled and broken. After the funeral, Caleb started volunteering at the hospice. He reconnected with Liam. He learned the young man he had seen with Liam that day at the hospice was a transgender girl named Lucy, who had since passed away. She had spent her final days living as her true self, and Liam had helped her feel beautiful. At her funeral, her parents had initially caused a scene, horrified that their son was being buried in a dress. It was her mother who finally broke down, crying that her child had suffered enough, that she just wanted to be beautiful when she left, and they should let her go. Watching Lucy, surrounded by flowers, looking so young and peaceful, Caleb thought of Ethan. He realized he had never truly said goodbye. He had been so haunted by the image of his brother's pale body being pulled from the river that he hadn't even looked inside the coffin. After the service, he and Liam were standing under a tree. Liam told him it was a tree burial. Ashes were buried at the roots. He said that when he died, he wanted to become a tree. "Okay," Caleb said. "I was gonna have my ashes scattered in the ocean, but..." He trailed off. Liam looked at him. "But if you're going to be a tree, then I'll be a tree too. I'll grow right next to you." Liam smiled. It's a pretty good way to be together forever. Caleb continued, our branches intertwined, our roots connected. I can't think of anything better. Liam, this is my answer after 2 years. He held his breath, waiting. Liam didn't make him wait long. Okay, he said. What does okay mean? Liam smiled, his eyes holding all the warmth in the world. Growing together. Our branches intertwined. Our roots connected. There's nothing better. On the anniversary of Ethan's death, Liam went with him to the cemetery. It had been so long. Looking at the photo on the headstone, he was struck by how much time had passed. He had grown up. The 20-something man looking back at him from his own reflection was no longer so identical to the boy frozen forever at 16. He knelt and gently wiped the dust from the photo. Long time no see, he murmured. Mom's gone. You've probably seen her over there. I guess most of our family is on that side now. You left me behind. But I'm doing okay. And sorry, but I'm still with the guy you liked. He confessed that he'd never properly said goodbye, never visited. I'm sorry, brother. And thank you. As he spoke, a butterfly landed on the tombstone, its wings gently beating. He rested his forehead against the cold stone, speaking to Ethan for a long time. When he finished, the wind picked up. He stood, and the butterfly lifted off, landing on the tip of his nose. He looked down at it, cross-eyed. It stayed there for a long, still moment. Ethan, his vision blurred. He raised a hand, and the butterfly moved to his palm. It's you, he whispered. The wind was the only reply. Liam took his hand. Maybe he was waiting for you, he said softly. And now he has. The tears finally came, hot and unrestrained. Ethan, my brother. I know I hated you, but I also loved you with all my heart. I know I was scornful, but I also wanted to be you. We were born from the same womb. Maybe we were always part of the same soul. Go now. Go and find your next spring.